that you've heard it a million times rather than never hearing it at all, because if you live in this area, you might be involved with this directly. So, can everybody see that okay? I'm going to stay here so I can work the slides from here, but basically in short, we've got a new pest in Oregon that hasn't established yet. It's Japanese beetle, and we're going to do our best to make sure that it doesn't stay here. I'm actually going to skip over that just in terms of time. So this is the beetle that we're worried about. If you've ever lived in the eastern United States, you might be familiar with this. It's called Japanese beetle. Papillia japonica is the species. On the right is the adult stage of the beetle. These feed on foliage of plants, flowers, fruits, and trees and berries. On the left is the immature grub stage, the larvae, and those live underground in the soil, and these feed on grass roots and plant roots. So both stages of this pest's life are damaging and severely damaging. It's a major pest on the, is that okay if it's skewed like that a little bit? There's not a lot of text, this is mostly pictures, so it should be okay. Both of these are major pests in the eastern United States. It is not established in the western United States yet. And we're concerned because we just found a population in the Cedar Mill area. We don't know how it got here, but we trap all over the state, and so we started seeing populations of it show up. I'll go into more detail about how that works. This is more about the life cycle. This is an illustration one of our image specialists at ODA did. Along the bottom you have the months of the year, and then also the corresponding stages that you'll find it. So right now we're in March. You would see, if you had it in your lawn, and it's a very small area that's established, I'll show you a map, you would have the grubs that are feeding on the grass roots. And you might start seeing dead spots on the lawn, really severe browning in those areas where it's feeding. In June, that's when the adult beetles emerge from the soil and feed on foliage. Then later in the summer, those dig holes, lay eggs, those adults die, and then those larvae develop throughout the winter, where they're still feeding on grass roots or dormant when it's cold. They can survive very low temperatures. They're an East Coast pest. They go actually all the way from the East Coast up to the Dakotas, and that's about where they have established. They're not major pests that far west, but they are established in those states up to Colorado. And so in those areas it gets very cold, they survive without issue. So we're concerned because a very large population was discovered in Cedar Mill in 2016. We have a huge trapping regimen that we have throughout the state. Trapping for Japanese beetle is one of the major pests that the Department of Agriculture traps for. We also trap for Asian gypsy moth and European gypsy moth, as well as European chafer, which is very closely related to this. A number of bark beetles that are forest pests, and what's the other one? Light-run apple moth we also trap for. There's lots and lots of pests that we're concerned about, but these are the ones we spend the most time on, because these can be the most detrimental to agricultural industries in the state, as we see it. So it's worth most of our time and budget to make sure that these don't establish. The largest population we found yet in Oregon, 371 beetles, was found at the end of last summer in our traps. And 371 might seem like a ton to you, might seem like not that many beetles, but it's about the same number of beetles this year that we found in total that we found for the last 20 years of trapping. Usually we find them in 2s and 3s out by the airport in traps, and those trigger an eradication where we put pesticides down to kill those grubs. This was 371 beetles, so this is a major red flag for us that this is a huge population that could get established very easily if we don't act right now. So why do we care? Like I said, it likes to eat what we eat. There are a lot of different crops and plants and different ornamentals, fruits and vegetables that this thing eats. There's 300 different species on record that this can feed and reproduce on, and so a lot of those are economically important crops throughout the state. So we're very concerned about this. Industries in Oregon are worth millions. The nursery industry is gigantic in Oregon. It's our second most highest in terms of dollar value in the state, behind heads of cattle and beef cattle. The Oregon's nursery industry is worth $829 million. That's huge. And this is directly threatened by Japanese beetle. If it was to establish in this area and spread, it would be a contiguous habitat throughout the Willamette Valley where there's tons of nurseries. Monrovia is a major nursery, maybe Oregon's biggest, down in McMinnville, Dayton area. They would be directly impacted by feeding beetles, as well as all the other small nurseries, retail nurseries would have to deal with this also. Fruit and nut crops are also a major part of Oregon's agriculture, $602 million per year. The filbert or the hazelnut is the Oregon state nut. It's a huge industry. It's booming right now. If you've driven anywhere in Oregon along 99, hazelnuts are going in like crazy because they're getting top dollar right now for that industry. Actually, my research at Oregon State University was in hazelnuts for 8 years, working on pests and hazelnuts, and I know how important hazelnuts are to the state and how much money they're making right now, and how concerned they are about Japanese beetle. Berry growers also, Marion berry growers and other cane fruits, also concerned because of direct feeding on the foliage and fruits by Japanese beetle. The wine industry also directly impacted, $118 million. Sort of a point of pride for the Willamette Valley is our wine industry. The beetles feed directly on the foliage of these plants, destroying them, also feed on the grapes if the plants can actually produce them after defoliation. And it might sound like I'm doom and gloom, but I'm not exaggerating when I say these beetles really feed. I'll show you some pictures of just the damage they can do. And in talking to wine growers and wine grape growers in other parts of the country and how often they have to apply pesticides to combat this pest, it's just worked into their regimen. 4 times a year they're spraying for these things. Right now they're dealing with other pests and they're spraying as little as possible. Growers do not like to spray anything because it costs money and they care about the environment too. But they are in the eastern US and in Canada where Japanese beetle is established, maybe 4 sprays a year, and that's just part of the regimen per year. They're paying for that price, plus all the pesticide that's going to the water table.
And that keeps things from being organic too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know if there's anything certified organic that works very well on Japanese beetle. There are certainly organic things that can be applied to combat the grubs, but in terms of effectiveness, most growers are not going down the organic route. So why are we worried? Like I said, it's directly damaging to homeowners, nursery industries, and ornamentals. Your property values could suffer if lawns are damaged. Golf courses would suffer. Public parks and public areas would suffer with the lawn damage, and then just a direct feeding on the roses and foliage. These pictures here of the roses are actually photos that we took last summer. This is damage we found in the Cedar Mill area from these beetles. That's a trap that was full of Japanese beetle in one resident's yard. There's a lot in there. Yeah, so essentially he was picking them off and putting them in the trap. But that's representative of this thing establishes, and actually what we expect next summer of what you might see if you have a Japanese beetle trapped in your yard. This is a close-up of that picture and also the damage from some of the roses. That's just 1 or 2 beetles in there feeding on those, and they've eaten half the rose. I mean, these things are voracious feeders. Some other examples of crops. Upper left corner from University of Minnesota, that's blackberry leaves being skeletonized, it's called. That's a grape leaf in New York. Around Cornell University being skeletonized. Virginia Tech took this picture of raspberries being fed on, and the numbers there where you see they're balled up on those flowers there, that's a picture I found from Flickr, and I don't remember what state it's in. Those are the numbers that you can expect when they get established, because there's just tons of them. They really are gregarious because they let out a pheromone to attract mates, then they mate and lay eggs. So they're very attracted to flower scent and also to each other. That's actually how we trap for them. We have a synthetic pheromone that we put in the traps, and they think there's other beetles there. Plus, they think there's flowers there, so the floral are there as well. So this is where ODA comes in. What this is it's called a invasion. I can't remember what it's called exactly, the invasive species curve. But basically, it's an illustration of what happens if we don't act and how we kind of do things that are hard to back. So right now we are here. Or before this established, we were here with no population, and our main tactic is prevention. So we trap all over the state, look for Japanese beetles, and try to keep them from establishing. The threat that was introduced prior to 2016 when we had these, that's the threat of the Japanese beetle getting into the state. And that's when you start having management costs go up and the infestation area goes up. That's what these y-axes are. This is time here. The threat is Japanese beetle. This is where we are right now. We have a very few populations. Basically, we have 1 population in the Cedar Mill area, and even though it's 371 beetles, that's relatively low, and we can still deal with that. And so our option is eradication, basically getting rid of every beetle and trying to kill every last one before it can establish. And that's a heavy load, but it's doable, and we've done it before in the state, not in this capacity, but close to this down in Junction City, we had an eradication, and really we do this almost every year at the airport because a lot of the beetles come in and establish in that grassy strip by Portland Airport. Our supervisor of our program, Clint Burfitt, we had just hired him from Utah. He had just dealt with this in Warren, Utah, exactly the same situation. So he's experienced in eradicating Japanese beetle. And other states that we've talked to as part of a science advisory group that deal with this as well, help us with their experiences and talk to us about how this is done. So it is feasible, we just need the community's help in doing it. So right now we have a large isolated population of JB was discovered in Oregon in 2016. Our opportunity to eradicate is literally right now, April and May and June of this year. If we don't eradicate and do this, we move into rapidly increasing populations and move into containment. Containment is very complicated. Basically, we try to keep it from spreading throughout the Willamette Valley. And what that means is quarantines on what can go in and out of the area in terms of green waste, which we might have to establish and actually are probably going to have to establish in the area. We have some more details about that coming, or Jessica may have more details about that as well. And then it also becomes containment of what can move in and out of the state. Right now in the eastern United States, nurseries can't just ship whatever they want all over the country without being inspected for certain pests, one of which is Japanese beetle. So this would affect the nursery export industry immediately because they couldn't ship any potted plants out of the state. They already have to get certified as pest-free, but this would be one more thing that they would have to be spraying for and have to be certified as pest-free before they can send out. So this cost would go up immediately for them. If we can't contain it, then we go into populations widespread, resource protection and long-term management. Basically that means we just get used to the beetle being around, more pesticide applications by homeowners, more pesticide applications by nurseries, by industries. Basically Japanese beetle is another thing that we deal with. And that's what we don't want because that's costs go up for everybody and the amount of pesticide going into the environment goes way, way up. Just to show you how seriously we take Japanese beetle, this is just the Japanese beetles traps placed by ODA as of last September. Every one of those green dots, and they kind of blend together into a mass there, that represents a Japanese beetle trap throughout the state. And it may just look like a couple hundred there, but I assure you there are thousands there that are checked annually by an army of trappers that work diligently throughout the summer. Each of these is checked at least twice, once throughout the summer and then once again when they're picked up. And that's just some of the traps we place for Japanese beetle. We also do this for gypsy moth, light brown apple moth, and like I said, some other pests as well. That's where most of ODA's money, not Department of Agriculture, but the IPPM group that I'm part of, Insect Pest Protection and Management. No, Prevention and Management. We're not trying to protect pests. Insect Pest Prevention and Management. That's where most of our budget and time goes, is this giant trapping. Campaign. I will skip through this quickly, just in time so we can get to why we need to talk to you guys. So these are the traps in the Cedar Mill area that we had Japanese beetle hits in this area last year in 2016. We also had some out by Rock Creek. We had hits with positive trap catches in the summer. Subsequent trap checks later did not recover beetles, so we don't think that established there. We think that they flew potentially from another area, or they no, we're not really sure what happened, but we did not find them again in that area. Whereas when we put traps in this area, and then there were strikes, we put more traps out, and we got them again, we know that it is trying to establish, or it's, the threat of establishing is serious in this area here. So that's where our eradication is going to focus. Here's a map of that area as well, just so you can kind of orient yourself. This is Saltzman Road here. Evergreen Street, Thompson Road, this is Highway 26, Cornell is down here. We have a map online that you can check to see if you live in that area. You can go to bit.do/JB-map, and we can give you handouts on that and information. You can put in your address to see if you're in the eradication zone. If you think you might be, you can talk to us also. If you don't live in this area, this doesn't directly affect you in terms of our plan for eradication, but we should still talk to you about potentially putting traps out and sort of what's going on in terms of our operation. So what are we doing? So it's a 5-year approach to this eradication. First off, we need to engage with you guys and talk to you about what we're going to do, especially if you live within the eradication zone. We have a diverse team working on the project. That's a science advisory group. We have all the entomologists at ODA are working on this, as well as other experts from around the country. What our plan is to use acetylprin G, which is an insecticide. It is a granular insecticide, that's what the G stands for. And this will be applied to turf directly to the lawns in the eradication area. Japanese beetle reproduces by laying its eggs in heavily watered, well-drained turf, which is basically people's lawns. And so that's the prime oviposition site for this insect. So the pesticide is applied to the lawns directly in April and May. It goes in, takes 90 days to sink into the soil, and then the grubs of the next generation feed on that pesticide and die. So that's our plan for eradicating this. It's 2,450 different residences, and it's an area of 1,000 acres roughly. We can't do these applications this is the proposed plan for us right now. We can't use those pesticides in creek areas and riparian areas. It's not prime habitat for the beetle. We can also utilize biological control, which is using other nematodes and fungicides, or not fungicides, but funguses in those areas that are either certified organic or not considered a true synthetic pesticide. That's actually my expertise. I'm a biocontrol expert. That's still being worked out in terms of what's feasible and what's cost effective. We have to change green waste management within a controlled area. That means green waste that you have from your yards can't leave the area. It has to go to a special place. And the reason for this is if you're collecting foliage or soil, it could have eggs or grubs in it. Or if you're participating in plant sales, which are popular in the area, such as Aloha Gardening Club. They were having a plant sale, and one of the residents there was digging up plants from the yard that may have had the grubs or the eggs in that soil, and then selling it to people who live outside of the area. And so that's something people don't think about, especially because we haven't had to deal with Japanese beetle at all, but that's a really fast way for the pest to spread. And then we do high-density trapping, 200 to 300 per square mile of these traps to really figure out where this beetle is active and where we need to do these pesticide applications throughout the next 5 years potentially. So this is a quick timeline of what's going on. Right now we're at the March open house meetings. April, begin treatment, that's our plan, but this project has not been actually approved yet by our own director at ODA. And I think Jessica will talk a little bit about what's going on with that. But real quick, in conclusion with my part, Department of Ag is going to eradicate the Japanese beetle in Cedar Mill beginning this year. Failure will result in decreased quality of life, increased pesticide use, costly quarantines, and potentially decreased property values. You can find out a lot about this and all the details at JapaneseBeetlePDX.info. That's on those handouts that we've got. There's also an FAQ on the table, a cool little card for identifying the beetle. That Jessica's got that. We encourage you to take those with you. And I'm going to pass it off to Jessica to talk about what the community can do directly to help us get this done.
Thanks. So my name is Jessica Riedel. I'm with Samara Group, and we're doing communication, helping ODA with communication and outreach. So we've got a lot going on. The first thing is that the Department of Justice has asked us to show community support for this project, which that is coming by way of a consent form asking your consent to treat your property if you're in the treatment zone. If you're not in the treatment zone, we're not asking for your consent. If you're in the treatment zone, you should have received 2 postcards already. With this, the first one has this artwork on it, which is done by our lovely artist, Chris. Hopefully you noticed it. And the first postcard was in January, was to introduce you to the problem. The second postcard was to let you know that we were having outreach events, which we had last weekend here at the Leedy Grange in the library. The third postcard that you're going to get looks like this. And this is asking for you to sign consent to let us come and treat your property. On the back, we'll have a description of what we're asking for and a little update on the project. And then signing the consent form at our Japanese Beetle PDX website. There'll be a button right here that says consent form, so that you can click on that and go in and enter your information. You'll also be getting in the mail a mailer with this postcard, which is exactly the same information that's on the consent form here. If you prefer to handwrite it and not use the web, you can fill it out, fold it, tape it, and drop it in the mail, and we'll get it. We are going to be, because we've been asked to demonstrate public support, we are going to be going door to door this Thursday, the 16th, all day Saturday, all day next Thursday evening, and then all day the following Saturday, which is the 25th, to let people know about the project. So we'll be in the neighborhood, you'll see us, Chris and I will be there along with the ODA team and Samara, and we're also have sent out a few emails to ask neighbors or community members who'd like to come with us to talk about the project to do that as well. And we'll be talking about what it is that we're asking, why we're asking, asking if you're ready to fill out your consent form to get it to us, because we'll take it. And then we'll be passing out we'll be giving these out, the little ID cards, and then if anybody wants some of this brochure. And then we also have the health frequently asked questions that talks about Acela-G. The Oregon Health Authority has spent a lot of time investigating Acela-G, and they have created a frequently asked questions document. If you go to our treatment tab on the website, there's a button that says Health FAQ. You can go to that, and that bounces you over to Oregon Health Authority's website, where you can read a full description. The handout in the back is the top 7 questions that were asked at the outreach event, so we'll be passing those out to folks. This project is proposed, so it hasn't been approved. So if this is something that we don't want to deal with, then we need to get our consent form signed and demonstrate public support. That's the hard part, is getting the consent forms from my perspective.
Yep.
And what we can use your help on is asking your neighbors, did you see your postcard? Did you see your consent form? Did you sign it? If no, do you have questions? Point them to our website. We are happy to get on the phone. We're happy to answer anybody's email. You can use this contact form to send us a question, and we'll answer your question and get back to you. What else?
I think that's.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the next door social?
Yes, we have.
I'd be happy to put something on there.
Wonderful. I will get your email, and I will give you
Yeah,
some blurbs
Yeah.
to put on there.
It kind of slipped by, I guess, but where is the target area?
Yeah.
I missed that too.
Shade.
I mean, that map that shows those dots, that's
The dots here are the traps where we caught it. So that blue border is the entire target area.
So what is the street on the left that goes up?
This
That's
one's 143rd.
Yeah, So it looks like that's Burton there?
And
correct.
this is Hard Tongue Farms in here.
Yeah, and Burton is
Burton is
running
that.
right at the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah, that looks like that maybe close to my yard.
So you may be in the
I
area.
mean, our neighborhood association, Burton Park Homeowner Association, that's gotta be really close.
Yeah, and it looks like 1 or 2 beetles were actually found there, probably at the end of the season here. Whoops. Oh, that's how it changes slides. These are 1s and 2s. The smaller dots are like 1 or 2 beetles caught per trap there. The larger dot there on Hartford Road is 82 to 171. So
Wow.
still found there. So the way we determine the eradication zones and the borders is based on how many beetles were found there, and then we go out a certain number of kilometers to the edge until we don't find them. So if it was outside the eradication area, we didn't find any beetles in that area.
Now, your intent is to put that granular pesticide on this whole area?
On every resident's lawn in the area.
That's a lot of lawn.
It's a lot of lawn. Yeah, any place there's turf grass, because that's where the beetles lay their eggs. And so the way this will be done is throughout, I think, a 2-week time span, and residents will get a 72-hour notice before it happens, and then pesticide certified applicators will go out with the Oregon Department of Agriculture.
You just kind of roll it on and distribute that way?
Yeah, it takes about 15 minutes. It's either what's called a belly grinder or a fertilizer application that way. So this is the way it's been done in the past. This is a huge area, but it's really our only option.
And you have a systematic approach with the task force of people to get out and do that.
We do, yeah. We have GPS experts and sort of people whose job it is to coordinate this kind of effort. So, yeah.
And the program manager did the very same thing in Orem, Utah,
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
Which-
So he has
So a
experience.
comparable sized area, really?
Yeah.
So there are a couple of questions here. You in the front had a question. You've been around it for a while.
Yeah, 2 questions. How big are they and how are they controlled in Japan?
So, in Japan, so in terms of
What's
how
so
big
funny
they
about
are,
that?
she'll grab you a card. They're this big. This card shows the actual size of silhouette. They're that big, and they're not a pest in their native range because the area that they live in is like foothills of mountains, and it's not as well watered as a lot of areas, and so the area where they can actually lay their eggs is
Well, they
not.
don't have many lawns there for one thing.
Right, so that's the thing, this lawn area, where it first established in New Jersey in 1915, it was this whole area that was irrigated lawn,
Oh my
and so that's where the Department of Ag in New Jersey found it in 1915. There's also natural enemies, that wasps and flies that lay their eggs on
Have you ever thought of a natural enemy as an agent of control?
I have absolutely thought of it. That's my specialty. So we're looking into that. There have been things that have been introduced in the United States to control it. They're not terribly effective, but those were introduced in the 1920s, and the science has gotten way better in terms of how we would establish and how we evaluate natural enemies that we introduce. And so that's one of the things that I and also some other people in the United States want to go back and reevaluate, because the science in terms of how these things work, their habitat and behavior is way better than it was 100 years ago.
That's
So
really tricky though, because a natural enemy could become
that's
another
absolutely
problem.
true. Or attack something that we don't want it to, and so
That's what I
that's,
meant.
yeah, absolutely. So, your question?
A couple things. First off, I know that for a fact that they sting.
The beetles?
I have a memory that they sting.
They don't?
It's a mild sting, but it's a sting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have a stinger or a venom of any kind. They do irritate. When they grab onto your hands, they have these tarsal hooks that can be really painful. When I only dealt with them once ever in my life, and that was in Burlington, Vermont.
Now,
And they were really annoying. In terms of biting, I'm not sure. I don't think so, but like you're saying with the venom, I wouldn't be surprised if that hook is painful.
as a child, around 1958 or so, we had a bad infestation in our area. This is in northern New Jersey. And our parents would send us kids out with jars of gasoline, maybe about 4 ounces, and we would collect these things
Yeah.
and then cremate them afterwards.
So
But it didn't last long. But
That's one of the
it
things-
was a few years.
That's something we've talked to homeowners about also, is hand picking is actually probably the most organic method you can use, not applying anything, but picking off the adults is one of the major methods that people use to control them still in the West. And we were talking about maybe getting together, a Boy Scout troop or a group of kids or something and offering rewards for how many they can get in the yard. They really smell when you get a lot of them dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it was fun of it.
Kids
We
might
cremated them afterwards.
You had a question?
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm from Wisconsin, and I can tell you that they're horrible, nasty, very, very invasive creatures. We had a nursery right within a block of our home that was completely just wiped out because they could not get rid of them. And then, I don't know, are you using the little bag things?
We aren't, and we're not advocating because they can draw them in from other
Right.
areas, right?
That's what we did, because everybody told us, oh, get those bags, those, you can get them on Amazon, don't do it. They're yellow bags, you put them up, and they attract them. The problem is, they don't just attract, like, your yard. They bring their friends from the entire neighborhood that comes and lives in your bag, and when the bag gets full, they spread, and they're worse in your lawn. They're horrible, but honestly, I just did the consent form just right now on my cell phone. So it's really fast and easy and quick to do, so go on the site and do it because you don't want them. No, you definitely do not want them, and they're nasty, and they're disgusting, and they stink.
You have a question?
Yes.
We used to tie strings on the legs in Missouri
Oh, jeez.
and fly them around. Now, that seems kind of strange, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
well, it
it's
does.
a
You're
real
right, that's
number.
strange, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, don't
Mine
need
had to do
amusement
with
when
the,
you're done like that.
The
Better
overlay by
than
the
putting salt on
director.
slugs, that's a-
Oh, we could be on
Oh,
that.
sure.
What's the delay here?
So the delay with the director and why they haven't approved it yet is because we can't, for certain insect emergencies, we basically can do what we want, and we could just go on to people's lawns and apply it without consent. That's if it's classified, I think, as like an insect
I think
emergency.
the governor has to declare it an emergency.
Yeah, but that is a little bit of a gray area, and why this wasn't declared an emergency, we're not sure, but it wasn't. And so the Department of Justice came back and said, if somebody doesn't consent for this, that's a problem. And so you guys can't just go on and do this. So basically, you need to show that this is publicly backed before the director of the state, or the director of the Oregon Department of Agriculture can okay this for us to go ahead and do this. But we have to show, some number of popular support for this in terms of consent forms and letters written by industry groups, because we have that support also from the lime industries and berry growers and things like, and nurseries to write their support in it. So that's why the director has to approve it.
And it all goes in a package that she gets everything together. There's on the website, you'll find the draft response plan, and it has an environmental assessment, an informal environmental assessment. There's no harm to pollinators through Acetylprin G. Answer some questions like that. It has the treatment maps, it has the quarantine language in it. And then we'll also put in the comments from the outreach events and comments that we've gotten through the website as part of, these are the questions being asked, these are how we're answering them. So all of those things are gonna go into the package for the director, and then they'll sort through all of
Is
that.
there a date the director will make that decision?
We don't have that information yet.
But we're hoping to get responses by March 24th at the latest, because that's when we have to start counting and putting together the package. March 24th is basically our deadline to get the consent forms in.
We would like to be treating mid-April. If it gets approved.
There's a few questions. Did you have your hand up, sir?
Hi, I did. You mentioned well-watered lawns are their habitat, so can we do watering restrictions either voluntarily or can you impose watering restrictions in an area?
I'm not sure. We're not currently, because our plan is to apply the Acetylprin. That's kind of the best thing to do to get that in there, because we don't, a lot of people have different watering regimes and also lawn care things. We're not trying to interfere with anything like that. We don't have to if we can do the Acetylprin. That should take care of it. So if we're not able to apply it, we might suggest that as a way to combat it, but right now we don't really have suggestions there.
Would it help? I mean, if we didn't?
I think it would. I'm not sure how well they survive in non-watered lawns, and possibly even if you didn't, your neighbors might water their lawns and
Sure.
survive there and then move it anyway. But that's a good suggestion.
Okay.
So you have to have a certain number of positive responses before they'll allow it. And so once they allow it, will you be able to go on even the people who did not approve it?
We do not know the answer to that question yet.
That's where you put those Japanese beetle traps. Your neighbors that don't do that, because they all live there.
We don't have an answer.
Okay.
That's
That's
in discussion. There's discussions around that. So hopefully we'll have answers soon, but we don't right now.
And you said you did this in Cave Junction?
Yeah, there was a situation in Cave Junction in 2007. It wasn't quite as big a population, but they started finding it down there. And the introduction is actually a family from Iowa had moved into the state and brought all their potted plants with them. So we found them, and that's not uncommon. I mean, people move their pots all the time, especially huge, trees that are established in pots and things like that. So we don't advocate that people don't do that. We just hope that they search it before they do it. And this is true. I mean, anybody who moves from Oregon, we may have pests here that people don't have in other parts of the country. This goes both ways. But yeah, it was interesting. We were able to, through new addresses and new,
Postal forwarding.
Yeah, postal forwarding, we were able to figure out where they may have come from in the area, and we knew that, oh, this came from Iowa. When checked their potted plants, sure they were full of grubs. And so that was great, because we were able to, figure it out very quickly and eradicate fast. So
And that worked then?
that did work, yeah. We have not been recovered in Cave Junction since then. That was 2007, and I think it was just a one-year application that year, maybe two.
How will green waste management go for this particular area? What's the plan there? Do we all have our haulers that pick it up and stuff?
We're, ODA and Metro and the haulers had a meeting yesterday that was really fruitful, so we're gonna have more information. I didn't get the update from that meeting, actually it was this morning. So that's in progress. We're working on putting that into writing, what that looks like and how that's gonna work. But we're working on quarantine signs that look like a transportation sign that say, please don't move waste out of the area. We're working with the haulers to figure out what we can do in terms of taking your waste to a special composting facility, potentially that's high heat, that would kill the beetle if it's in the waste. We're chugging along on it. We're trying to get it solidified. That's what that looks like.
In terms of keeping things on time, we're starting to go over our time. We're at 8:06 right now, so I don't want to, if people have questions, I'm going to be here till the end of the meeting, and we've got to answer your questions then. Also, you can call us at our contact number that's on this here. It's also on the FAQ. It might not be on the FAQ. But take one of these with you, and also I have a pile of business cards. I can hand them out. You can call me directly and ask questions. But yeah, we'll be here at the end, but I don't want to take up anyone else's
Yeah,
time.
the website is on, the website is right here to go to.
Yeah, and also, yeah, you can check, if you go to the website, you can check your address to see if you're in the area directly, just enter your address and it will pop up. So, thank you for your attention, thank you for having us here, thank you, Virginia, for your work that you've been doing as well, to try to advocate for us. This has been